ayaya, ayaya, maikawe, ayaya. Maikawe, namunamunamunamuwe. Maikawe, maikawe, zalasamamu zalanamuwe. Maikawe, maikawe, borbasabanam borabasamba. Maikawe, maikawe, maikayana tarawamuwe. Maikawe, maikawe, maikayana komaborowe. Maikawe.
Hi there, viewers of Equinoxe Television. Thank you so much for joining us on this edition of the news. We begin right away with our magistrates. As usual, journalists in Cameroon say they want adequate access to official information in the country. They want the Information Act to be respected. The journalists are speaking on the sidelines of President Paul Biya's special tribute which he paid to brutally killed journalist in Yaoundé, Martinez Azogo. Sad is our magistrate. Stay with us for details and more. Welcome back, viewers. We continue talking about the brutal killing of the journalist in Yaoundé, Martinez Azogo. It is exactly 12 days after his body was brutally mutilated and dumped on the outskirts of the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. And President Paul Biya, in a message in which he paid special tribute to journalist Martinez Azogo, showed concern to the media and also the journalism profession in Cameroon. In that communique which was sent out or published yesterday, President Paul Biya also asserted that investigations are going on and the killers or alleged killers of Martinez Azogo, some of them have already been arrested. Our reporter Babila Jonathan read through the communique of President Paul Biya, which was signed by Ferdinand Gongo. He now tells us more in the following write-up.
On the instructions of the President of the Republic, Paul Biya, the Minister of State Secretary General at the Presidency of the Republic, Ferdinand Gongo, informs the public that a mixed Gendarmerie Police Commission of Inquiry has been set up to shed light on the assassination of journalist Martinez Azogo. In a presidential statement, Ferdinand Gongo says investigations carried out so far have led to the arrest of several individuals highly suspected of being involved in the crime. Others remain wanted. He says ongoing interrogations and the judicial proceedings will help to determine the level of involvement of each suspect and establish the identities of all those connected in one way or the other with the assassination of the Amplitude FM radio station manager, Martinez Azogo. The release further states that in these tragic circumstances, the head of state pays special tribute to the late journalist Martinez Azogo and reiterates his support for the entire profession. And once again, he extends to the family of the deceased his heartfelt condolences and assures them of the sympathy of the entire nation. The President of the Republic reaffirms his resolve to keep up his struggle for democracy, human rights, good governance and progress, together with the government and all Cameroonians of goodwill.
And now we continue talking about the brutal killing of Martinez Azogo. Several persons in Cameroon want justice to be done and his suspects and killers are brought to book. Journalists and also legal minds, civil society actors, teachers and other influential persons in the country say justice must be done and the killers of Martinez Azogo must be brought to book. They as well denounce the arbitrary arrest of journalists in the country. Let's now have more in the report which comes up next by Mala Glory.
The assassination of journalist Martinez Azogo, several journalists have been raising fears about their security. Many are now scared to criticize what is going wrong for fear of reprisal, harassment, torture, or even death. Journalists applaud the efforts being made to track down the assassins of Martinez Zogo. To them, this is a major step of attaining press freedom in Cameroon.
We very well appreciate the fact that the President of the Republic has made a statement in favor of investigations that we've been asking for, and also in support of the media profession in general. As to whether this provides security for journalists, I can't say for sure. But you know that being a journalist is a very risky endeavor, particularly when you want to be an investigative journalist.
Despite the assurance of the head of state on his support for the media profession in a recent communique, journalists say not matching words with action can never guarantee their security.
We need to have some enacted laws, including an Information Act in Cameroon that permits journalists to do their work and access information legally.
By exposing corruption and malpractice, investigative journalism is the only way of ensuring that nobody is above the law. So, it is essential that democratic practice, truth, freedom and fairness be put on the spotlight, as it is able to provide a much-needed voice for the voiceless.
And now we come back to the report of Mala Glory. She tells us that a group of persons, including legal minds, civil society, teachers, and other influential persons in the country, say they want justice for Martinez Zogo. They also denounce the arbitrary arrest of journalists in Cameroon. Mala Glory has more.
How to live together in Cameroon today and tomorrow without killing each other? This is a question posed by at least 20 personalities who have jointly condemned the numerous killings in Cameroon. The mother of Martinez Zogo is the last straw that broke the camel's back. Cameroonians are still in shock, including this class of people: legal minds, civil society actors, journalists, teachers, artists, and influential personalities. They express their deep concern in a document published online and say the stability of the country is threatened by bitter clan struggles. Killing a journalist, they say it's against society because it violates freedom of expression. In a document signed by this group of persons, Felix Agbobala, Calix Behala, Marie-Roger Bilois, Charlotte Dupanda, Alain Foucault, Claudicia, and many others, they describe how the journalist was humiliated, the abduction of the victim by his executioners, the torture, his mutilation, and the exposure of his remains. They say represent a challenge to the people's ability to react as a community and civilized society. They add that the assassination of Martinez Zogo comes after dozens of others have been killed, amongst which is Engelben Veng, His Lordship Yves Plumet, Joseph Mbassi, and His Lordship Jean-Marie Benoit Mbala. In the same document, they also denounce violence against intermediary bodies such as the press, trade unions, the clergy, and associations. They therefore call for an inclusive national dialogue to end all the atrocities going on in Cameroon.
And now, reacting to President Paul Biya's concerns to the media family, let's now listen to Isidore Abba, who is a journalist based in the southwest region of the country, precisely in Boya. He speaks about journalists' difficulties to access to official information in the country. Let's now listen to him in this excerpt.
President's move to support journalists is laudable. This is the very first time that the President of the Republic is coming out to reaffirm his support for journalists. We think that this is heartwarming coming from the President. But we think that this shouldn't be, or this shouldn't end at the level of speeches. It should be matched by action. We want to see concretely what the state is doing to be able to bring the perpetrators of the death of Martinez Zogo to book. From that, we can be able to judge that the President has taken a commitment, and of course is working to fulfill that commitment. We think that this shouldn't only end at the level of speeches. It should be concretized by the promulgation of an Information Act, where journalists first are given unconditional access to information and are protected by this Information Act. With this piece of legislation, we think that even the powers that be, perpetrators and people who have become like killers of journalists will think twice before committing such heinous crime.
12 days after Martinez Zogo was killed, journalists in Cameroon, the national and international community want justice to be done and his killers brought to book. And now we talk something else. A gang of armed bandits suspected to have been terrorizing the population of Yaoundé in the central region of Cameroon have been arrested and dismantled by gendarmes in the central region of the country. Let's now have more of that human interest story with Lucy Diengo Isie.
Bullets, marijuana, knives, sharp objects, phones and other items are some of the things recovered from a group of suspects. According to investigations, the alleged gang have been terrorizing the town of Yaoundé 1. During a search operation carried out by the elements of the National Gendarmerie, the suspects were apprehended.
Following the instructions of our hierarchy to put an end to the moral practices of certain individuals in the Yaoundé town and its neighborhood, we proceeded to the arrest of many individuals, about 8 of them who were arrested.
The alleged bandits, according to Commander Akoni, were persecuting the population.
Following the theft and the theft of many objects in one snack bar in Yaoundé, precisely in Cartier Mana, and the vehicle of the governor of Garoua, which was broken, and his file, his briefcase taken, amongst which there were many objects. So we are just working in line with the instructions given by our hierarchy to put an end to the high crime wave here only.
The forces of law and order call on the population to collaborate, be prudent, and also denounce any suspect.
And now some legal minds or lawyers in Buea have sued the president of the Military Tribunal in Buea and other co-workers. They are accusing them of corruption, falsification, among other issues. Our reporter Manjikan Gabriel spoke to one of the complainants and put together this report.
The days ahead will boycott the court in protest because we have been taken for granted. It is inadmissible, it is unacceptable. We will boycott the court so that those who parade the corridors of power should come in and investigate.
Barrister A.B. Stanley Ekwala is amongst the 8 lawyers who have filed a complaint against the president of the Military Tribunal in Buea, Magistrate Colonel Chinda Yemeyo Jackson, and 5 of his colleagues for disrespecting the rights of the lawyers in Buea.
State brief has to be assigned to those who are resident within the jurisdiction of this court. But unfortunately, a colleague left Douala came here, who is related to one of the top-ranking military president of the Military Tribunal. He was assigned state briefs. Few weeks or few months thereafter, colossal sum of money was withdrawn from the state coffers for the state brief that he purportedly did, which, as at the time the money was collected, he has not done any state brief, right up to judgment. It is on record. Let me lay the facts bare. He has not done any state brief which will warrant him to collect such a colossal sum of money, close to 200 million francs. It is appalling. Even some of us who have been doing cases in that court for the past 8 years or thereabout, we have never collected such amount of money. Me, for one, I've never collected a dime.
The lawyers who are planning to boycott court sessions at the Military Tribunal in Buea in the days ahead say their benefits have been handed over to another lawyer who is not based in Buea. According to the complaints dropped at the Ministry of Justice, the Supreme State Audit Bench Office, and the National Anti-Corruption Commission, the lawyers say the officials of the Military Tribunal in Buea have abused power, falsification of official documents, false pretense, misappropriation and extortion of state funds from the treasury. They are calling on justice to prevail.
I'm calling on the minister, the president. I haven't written another complaint which in the days I will fall to the presidency of the republic. It should be investigated. It should be investigated, and if any person who is found culpable, let the president roll. Has to roll so that we should know that Cameroon is a state of law. Our warnings are still hanging in the air. We have not collected any kobo. I have not collected 1 franc. The facts are very glaring, they are staring us across the face.
The team of lawyers who filed the case against the president of the Buea Military Tribunal are now expecting that investigations will be carried out to clear the air about the corruption charges.
And the new president of the Association of Banks of the West African Sub-Regions is a Cameroonian. One of his major assignments is to ensure that the sub-region has a unique currency, as Babila Jonathan tells us in the report which comes up next.
Kenyan banker and business administrator Guy Laurent Fonjo takes over the helm of the Association of Banks of West Africa amid the organization's drive to impose its leadership in the sub-region and establish a unique currency for member countries. After serving as vice president of the association for close to 2 years from July 2021 to 2023, he was elected president by his peers during a recent extraordinary general assembly. He takes over from Senegalese Tienon Siedu, former Director General of the National Bank for Economic Development of his country. 41 years old Guy Laurent Fonjo is serving as administrator of Afriland First Bank in Equatorial Guinea and president of Afriland First Holding.
And now we talk culture. We take you to the west region of the country. The new chief of the Fortetsa village in the Menua division of the west region is an 8-year-old lad. Miguel Nanju was chosen by the kingmakers, though the choice was contested by some notables of that village. The 8-year-old was officially received by the senior divisional officer for the Menua recently. Innocent Arsenal presents to us the new 8-year-old chief of the Fortetsa village of the Menua division in the west region of Cameroon.
This is His Royal Majesty Miguel Nanju Clarence, 8 years of age. He has been chosen as the new traditional leader of Fortetsa village in Chang in the Menua division of the west region. Going by tradition, he was chosen at the Royal Palace of Fortetsa by kingmakers in a colorful ceremony to celebrate the life of his father, Fondouatsa II Pierre Marivou, who died last December at the age of 76. The choice, which took many people by surprise, was contested by some of his brothers and sisters. This riot will change nothing, as the Miguel choice has been validated by the SDO for the Menua division, who presented the youngest traditional ruler to the public, including natives, administrative authorities, and other traditional rulers. The new font is a class 6 pupil of Government Primary School for Fortetsa. His Royal Majesty Miguel Nanju is now in charge of the destiny of this village, made up of over 10,000 people.
And now in our sports page tonight, the new season of the Cameroon Swimming Federation will be launched this weekend in Douala, and also the new youth football season is announced for tomorrow still. Our staff man Smart Dikan Gabriel now has more on our sports roundup for this weekend.
Our next stadium of the Bepanda Reunification Stadium will be the point of attraction this Saturday as the Youth Championship will be launched. It is reported that the president of the Cameroon Football Federation, FECAFOOT, Samuel Eto'o, will be the guest of honor. Cotton Sport of Garoua will be hosting Renaissance of Ngumu in an advanced Day 12 match of the Elite One Championship this weekend. The committee in charge of the league says the reason for this advanced game it is to ease Cotton Sport to participate in the African Interclub tournament that will soon resume. In Algeria, it will be either the home-based Desert Foxes or the Teranga Lions of Senegal that will be crowned as champions of the 7th edition of the African Nations Championship CHAN that ends this weekend. A win for the Teranga Lions of Senegal will be their first and a record for Senegal, who are current champions of Africa after the Africa Cup of Nations in Cameroon and the African Beach Soccer Championship. They will become just the first nation to win 3 major trophies. We conclude this edition in athletics. Preparations are gearing up ahead of the 28th edition of the Mount Cameroon Race of Hope. In a recent outing, the president of the Athletics Federation, Motombi Mbome Emmanuel, says 600 athletes will be challenging the Chariot of Gods. The prize money, 10 million francs CFA for the senior female and male race, will be given without taxes deducted. While days before the race, a sport walk bringing together 1,000 athletes alongside journalists will take place in Boya, with start point Moliko Omnisport Stadium, Tumbongo Square. This year's mountain race will mark the 50th anniversary of the Mount Cameroon Race of Hope.